All right, so we're going to take a look at quadratic formula. Again, all you're going to do is Control C, paste it in the calculator, Control V, X out of everything that's kind of weird. Make sure you have it copied down. There's a triangle here that says we only support X and Y. So let's go change all our variables from Z or whatever it is for you to X. And once you do that, you see it appears. Again, clicking this home button would make it like kind of zoom into where you want it to be. Because we're doing solve, we're looking for the solutions of -3 and -0.6. So we're going to put that -0.6 in here, hit math enter enter or our equivalent of that, and then we have the other one was -3. All right, so no solutions, you press minus sign here, one solution, plus sign, so it's one box, two solutions, two boxes. So I have two solutions, one is -3 and the other is -3/5. I don't think I need to do another example of this one because you're just plugging it in. All right. Then we're going to take a look at solve a trinomial. Again, we're solving quadratic equations or solving quadratic equations. So all we're doing is Control C, Control V, cleaning it up, making sure it matches. Then find your solutions. I'm zooming in a little bit for this one. 1 is my solution, 1.2 is my solution. Put 1.2 in the calculator, math enter enter, 6/5. So I have, I forgot that quickly, 1. So I have two solutions, so I make two boxes, 1 and 6/5. Again, I don't think I need to do another one of this because all you're doing is Control C, Control V, and write down the solutions. I don't even think you have to make it into a fraction, to be honest. All right. All right, then we're going to go to find the complete constant. So a lot of times it's going to be find the solution, but every now and then they're going to, so the Desmos calculator finds the answer, but there are steps to get to the answer. One of those is complete the square, and you guys know how to do this completely by hand, but I'm going to show you just this one part that they're going to, usually I see this question a lot. It says, what is the first step of completing the square? Now, assuming that you have it in standard form, what that means is you have the squared and then the x and then the number, and here you have nothing. So if you have something here, take everything to that side, right? Once you've taken everything to that side, then the process of completing the square begins by you taking whatever b is, which in my case is -13, dividing it by 2, all right, and then squaring it. And I put parentheses so that the order of operation can be first to take 13 divided by 2 and then squaring that answer. All right, what does that look like in your calculator? The same exact thing. So you're going to take whatever b is, so I'm going to put parentheses, whatever b is, divided by 2, oh, that's not divide, divided by 2, and in my case b is -13. And then you're going to square it, so shift 6 and then squared. So, and it's okay that you get a decimal. So this is 42.25. I'll do another question. Original problem. How do I? Oh, I've already answered this question. That's why. Okay. So 42.25 would be my answer, or I could math enter enter and do 169/4. All right. I will do another question from show example. I can't do a show example. Again, all you're doing is taking whatever b is. So positive, negative, it doesn't matter. So if my b was 5x, for example, I would take 5 divided by 2 and then square it. And that would be the very first step of completing the square. That's the number you add to both sides in order to complete the square. All right, last two are pretty similar, difference of squares. So, and this only works if you have two terms. So this is the first one, this is the second one. And they're separated by a negative. So if they're separated by a positive, it will not work. But if you have two terms separated by a negative, and you can take the square root of the first one, and you can take the square root of the second one, then your answer is the square root of these two things, plus and minus. So for example, the square root of x squared is x. The square root of 144 is 12, and you can just put that in a calculator. So it's that plus and minus. That's it. Okay, so square root of the first thing, square root of the second thing with a plus and minus. All right, let's do another question. So I'm going to do a couple of these. All right, so again, you take the square root of the first, the square root of the second, plus and minus. So this is x, square root of x squared is x, square root of 25 is 5, and then you're going to do plus or minus. Just like that. All right, I'll do one more, so I'll do the actual question. So I already know I'm going to have parentheses, square root of the first one, so square root of x squared is x, square root, so I'm going to do it twice, right? And then the square root of 81 is 9, so I'm going to have plus 9 and minus 9. All right, so again, square root of the first thing, square root of the second thing, plus and minus. All right, for the last problem, it's going to be the exact same thing, only that now you have like more letters, I think. Yeah. And again, I'm going to do a few of these just to make sure that you're okay. So square root of the first thing, square root of the second thing. So let's square root this first thing. So square root of 36 is 6. Square root of x to the 6th power. Okay, so let's talk about that. What does x to the 6th power mean? It means you have x times x 6 times. Okay, x times x 6 times. And then when you square root that, right, remember square root is the opposite of squared. So you're going to go backwards. Squared is the same thing twice. So going backwards would be taking away the two things that you just got and making it one thing. All right, two things that you just did and making it one thing. Two things that you just did and making it one thing. So the square root of x to the 6th power is how many x's? 3 x's. So this is x 3 to the 3rd power. And then the square root of 49 is 7. So again, it's the square root of the first thing, the square root of the second thing with a plus and minus. All right, I'm going to do one more question on this because it's pretty similar. All right, square root of the first thing. Actually, I want a harder question. Let me see if I can get a harder one. Yeah, I'll do this one, okay. So again, your parentheses, square root of the first thing. So y to the 4th power, what does that mean? It means I have 4 y's, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So every 2 of them is going to become 1 if I'm going backwards. Every 2 of them is going to become 1. So I'm going to have 2 total. So square root of y to the 4th power is going to be y to the 2nd power. And then plus and minus. And then the square root of the second thing. Well, the square root of 64 is 8. And again, you can just put that in the calculator. Hit 1, 2, 3, hit square root, and then hit 64 if you don't know the numbers. All right, so that one's 8. And then the square root of x to the 4th power. So again, that's having x how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4. And every 2 becomes 1, right? So that's going to be 1, and then that's going to be the second one. So it's going to be x squared. And that's it. Okay, so that's the whole study guide in its entirety. Please feel free to go back to whatever questions that you need. I think I skipped a question, so I'm going to go back to it. It was table to linear, I think. Or if not, I'm doing it again. All right, so table to linear, just like we did exponential and quadratic, you're going to add a table. You're going to put the table in. So 1, enter 2, enter 3, enter 4. And then we have on this side, we have 0, enter 2, enter 4, enter 6. All right, that's my table. And because it is a linear function, I'm going to come to my, what is this called again? Formula sheet. And I'm looking for linear. And this is linear right here on the top left. And this is what I'm putting, y equals mx plus b. All right, so I'm going to come here, y equals mx plus b. Oh man, it doesn't give me any answers. Okay, that must mean that I need to change a few things. For one, if I'm asking it to refer to this table and give me answers, this table says x sub 1, y sub 1. So I need to change that in here. So to add a 1, y sub 1, and then add a 1 on x. Okay, that did something, but it's still not giving me the answer. And that's because you need to remember it doesn't want the equal sign. It wants a squiggly line, which is ABC, and then squiggly line. And there are my answers. So again, the formula says that it's y It says y equals mx plus b, right? So what does that mean? It means y equals, and in place of m, because I just found m to equal what number here? 2. So I'm going to put 2, and then x is still x, and then in place of b, I have minus 2. So that's my equation. And you know, to double check, actually, I just thought about this. To double check to make sure, I can come right here and I can click this gear, hit table, and then you can check your answers. So if at 1, it should give me 0. At 2, it should give me 2. At 3, I pressed enter, it should give me 4. At 4, it should give me 6. So yeah, that is the equation. All right, and that's pretty much it for all the study gap.